Done. It's a crazy time. I just crazy time. Crazy rhyme. It's getting crazy. It's getting Bugler out of wheel. When I'm crazy, cocky make me crazy, daisy, send me crazy, position I run, she send me crazy, me no lazy. Crazy girl, show me crazy, love it, don't amaze me, cause a crazy time, them do some crazy things, they drive me crazy. Crazy fast, ask me why I'm true, crazy, cause the crazy things that go on the road, the world is getting crazy. Tracy tell her friend, say that she a go drive me crazy, but a crazy probably a go make she push it crazy, baby, oh me. Me nah go vote you, man, they must be crazy, cause the same one way you vote for them, say man, I drive me crazy. I'm not say, how they drive the economy crazy, make the farmer them give up, and all the cow them getting crazy. Draw me out, fire crazy shot, I make it crazy, me know I'm crazy shot, I dump on them like crazy, my crazy. No, them a bad man, them a fool, them a baby, but I'm ready. They want the jungle, but it them a crazy, yo. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. Crazy girl, that's what crazy goofy, crazy money want to be man, but she should have taken for your sonny. Crazy time, me see some crazy sign, little crazy rhyme, crazy tune me build with crazy line. Yo, crazy body find long in a hole, crazy killer hole, crazy body find long in a gully. Yo, George Bush him is a crazy man with some crazy plan, bar running pants Saddam with a crazy man. Hold the face, tongue in a Iraq and down a Amsterdam. Hold the teeth, who take off the bracelet of Natasha and no retreat, no surrender, you must be crazy damn. Me not gonna leave Jamaica Island with a Netherlands. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. Alright, crazy what I don't know. Get a youth to make some crazy don't know. One get him up but them don't know how. Like you be really go now. Fire me arrow then me change the flow now. From the amateur to the pro now. Cause mine a show for who know. Q45 go change the Q now. Make up your mind, pass it up to dig it to them like glue now. The fussy them a talk them have a clue now. They hear the pass and can't decide the new now. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. When I'm crazy talk, you make it crazy, lady. Lady tell me crazy, position I run, she tell me crazy, me no lazy. Crazy girl, I show me crazy, love it don't amaze me. Cause I'm crazy, try to do some crazy things, me drive me crazy. Tracy tell her friend, say that she a go drive me crazy, but a crazy from me, I go make she push it crazy, baby. Me not go vote you, man, you must be crazy. The same one where you vote for them, say man, I drive me crazy. Just say, how them drive the economy crazy, make the farmer them give up and all the cow them getting crazy. Draw me out, fire crazy shot, I make it crazy. Me know a crazy shot, I dump on them like crazy, my crazy. No, them are the bad man, them a fool, them a baby, all of them. Even the jungle matches, them a crazy. Crazy girl, I swallow crazy, coffee crazy, money want to be mad, but she should have never be a funny now. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. It's getting, your word is, it's getting
that we ain't night. That we ain't night riders. That we ain't night riders.
Welcome to the Night Riders Squadcast live stream. You are now rolling with the Night Riders.
Same old shit every day and every night. But when it gets dark, niggas get out of sight. Make sure the AK is locked up tight, cause ain't no telling us some shit might pop tonight.
This type of shit, it happens every day. This type of shit, it happens every day. This type of shit, it happens every day. This type of shit, it happens every day.
Same old shit every morning when I wake. I'm thinking of another bitch's money to take. I start to get dressed, yo, my bitch is still asleep. Go put the 9mm gun in the Jeep and let it warm up and fuck Marvin Gaye. I wish somebody would come out and have something to say.
Yeah, you swinging in from the rooftops. What's going down?
What's going on? What's going on?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
we're back in the building, back in action.
yeah. I
All
haven't
right.
heard. I haven't heard not hair or no hide of her since that happened. Have you? Have you heard of her?
Well, I mean, I haven't been looking for her, but I think it's interesting that she did just kind of disappear. I heard that her social media, um, I guess her Instagram was taken down,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to look for that GoFundMe, and I didn't see the one that they said had gotten over 40,000. I pulled up one. I think I'm gonna pull it up a little later, and it just shows that it was 2,000 raised.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says that they're not taking any more donations. So yeah, I'm gonna pull it up a little bit later, but let's just get the show cracking officially. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Night Rider Squad cast. And as you may have guessed, we're going to once again be dealing with this particular situation and this particular scammer and her enablers. And we're going to go a little deeper in terms of just what happened with this whole thing and how this was even possible. And like I mentioned before, I don't want to just gloss over this because I think there's so many teachable moments about
Mm-hmm.
this. And like I said, I'm not going to just chase whatever's the latest story. I mean, we could touch on certain things. In fact, I do have a few things that I think are relevant based on some of the other news that's out there. And we're going to touch on that as well. But I definitely want to make sure that we keep this particular thing at the forefront because I think this is a pivotal moment in terms of being able to really place a lot of feet to the fire and show just how these things manifest as far as uh, how black women are rushing to defend and to support these people as long as they either come out and absolve them of any type of accountability or they blame black men, then there's always this, rush to support and open their purses
Yeah.
and throw money at these particular individuals. So that's the reason why the title of this particular broadcast is how black women invest in getting scammed. Because at this
Mm-hmm.
point, it's more or less like an investment. And I
Yeah.
framed it like that, not because normally when you think of scamming, you think of somebody's being duped and somebody just kind of like almost being like someone stole something from them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think of an investment, you're thinking about someone who's making a conscious decision and putting their money into something that they feel they're going to benefit from.
Yeah.
So the reason why I framed this the way I did is because that is precisely what we have going on here. I would venture to say, and I'm probably the first one that said this, is that black women got their money's worth from this whole thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that even though this was a scam, even though this woman was completely a fraud and lying, the psychic benefit that they got from being able to demonize black men and to put out this narrative, I feel is worth their weight in gold. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you see a lot of uproar from the black women in terms of the ones who have supported. That's why you don't see any retractions. You don't see
Yeah.
anybody who sent her money talking about they didn't get their money's worth. No, they
Mm-hmm.
made an investment and they got their return on their investment.
Yep.
And they
Exactly.
were simultaneously scammed because ostensibly, and the thing that it was about was because she was a victim and because some random black men socked her upside the head with a brick. So that was the cover story, but
Mm-hmm.
that didn't happen. So apparently people were supposed to be donating for that, but that wasn't the case. So therefore it was a scam. But on the other hand, all of this bad press, all of this propaganda was already put out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the reason why I say black women invest in getting scammed. And we're going to go over a few other examples of this a little bit later as well.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of was looking for her though, a little bit.
Looking forward to do what?
Well, I mean, I was just looking to see, if she has been found because she been on the run, sort of, kind of, sort of. Nobody really knows where she is.
My
So
concern or my question would be how much of any of that money was she able to access?
right, right. Yeah, she got to be held accountable, man. She got to be held
Because I
accountable.
heard someone was putting out, I think somebody by the name of Celebrity. I don't know if you heard of her,
No, I haven't heard of her.
but I think she has been on the case in terms of putting out information. I think she called the police station and was
Mm,
trying to verify if there was a report done. And I saw some clips. I think Obsidian and some other people played some clips of this woman as she was kind of doing some
mm,
investigative work on this. And again, I would just be more interested in whether or not she's going to not only not get the money, but have to, be accountable for fraud. There should
yeah,
be at least wire fraud or something. I mean, there should be something that, in terms of criminal charges, I guess, filing. I mean, I don't know if she filed an actual report, but filing false police reports, or certainly, putting out, uh, this false information to the public. But I would imagine that she probably did get some of that money. I don't know if GoFundMe, maybe released all of it, but I think the other woman that I mentioned was trying to put forth an investigation
mhm,
into the funding, but I don't know what the status of that is. I haven't checked up on it.
mm. Now, I did see the one GoFundMe where she raised 40K, but I didn't see the other one that you mentioned. Now, is it possible that uh, she made two accounts, two GoFundMe accounts? Is that
Um,
possible?
I'm not even sure if she made the first one. I think she had a
Mm,
front person or maybe a friend of hers or somebody who was supposed to get it. In fact, I'll pull it up now.
okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think this was the one who set up the initial one.
Mm,
Let me just go ahead and pull it up here because when I did the search on GoFundMe, this is the only thing I saw.
okay.
You see this where it says Rho Bashe needs help with bills while she recovers,
Yeah.
and then you see the amount, right? It just
Yeah.
says 2,000.
Yeah. I ain't seen this one.
And then if you look in this corner here, it says the organizer has currently disabled new donations to this fundraiser.
Okay.
And if you go down, I'm going to read what this person, and this is somebody named I guess Stacia Cooper is
Mm,
organizing this fundraiser.
mhm,
I don't know if this is one of her friends or whoever, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this may have been the person who was raising the initial one that had the 40 grand. Because, like I said, at least with the search that I did, this is the only thing that came up. And as you can see, it's not 40 grand, just 2,000 here. So
mhm,
I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. Now it says here, she says, "Hi, my name is Stacia, and I decided to start a fundraiser for Rho Bashe, who was recently physically assaulted for not giving a man her number. The man hit her in the head with a brick, giving her a concussion and causing massive swelling to the right side of her face." Now, is she got a concussion? Was she up screaming like a banshee? Instead of Bashi, I call her Banshee. Um, how was she up screaming and she had a concussion?
right.
I mean, so anyway, it's just kind of funny how they, still running with this narrative.
Very hung. Yeah.
Um, it
Yeah.
causing massive swelling on the right side of her face. This is disgusting that a woman has to go through something like that. Please donate. She needs help. She doesn't even think she'll get time off work. She needs rest to recover. Please help me help her. And then right here, the update, it says there has been allegations about the credibility of Miss Bashi's story. While I believe what happened to her really happened,
Hmm.
whoever this person is, they're clearly an idiot. as I saw medical records regarding the incident.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'd be nice to share those because I haven't seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone else verified this as far as the actual medical records that are consistent with what allegedly happened?
I haven't seen um, or I haven't seen or heard any reports other than the actual nurse that checked her out at the hospital and said that she was claiming a false report. So
Yeah. And then it says, I'm going to wait to hear more in regards to this. I just hate to doubt people, but I want to be certain that something I am doing out of the kindness of my heart is not being taken advantage of. I hate we live in a world like this. Unfortunately, it's people like you, gullible people like you, that enable people like her. So if you hate the world, you need to hate your part in that world.
yeah, really,
And this person is, and over here, I don't know who this guy. I guess is he the single donator that put 2,000 in here, Brendan Holloway? You see this guy?
yeah, I see it. Hmm. Hey, you know
So
what? Now that I look at this might be a dummy account because it doesn't have a profile picture where it says
yeah,
Special Cooper,
right,
and
right.
that sounds like a and then two, that sounds like a collaborated name, number two, and then they only have one donation, and this Holloway guy is the only donator.
Yeah, again, because like I said, I'm not sure. I'm just going. She goes by a different name too, Osman. She
Mhm.
goes by Bashi and Osman, I think it is. Hold on, let me
Oh,
try
she
that.
has different aliases. Oh, she a true scammer.
Well, I think it was like a hyphenated name. I think it was Osman
Oh,
Bashi or something like. Sometimes she just goes by. From what I saw, I mean, I'm not sure. There's no
okay.
telling. But let me just look
Wow,
under Rho Bashe.
straight clown.
Yeah, but yeah. So you see here, this is the only thing that popped up. That's the one that I pulled up. Unless it got pulled, I
Yeah.
don't know. Unless let me look up the other name. I think it's Osman,
Awesome. Okay.
something like that. I don't
Yeah, I haven't seen that one you just had up there. I just seen the one where she raised I think it was like 42K, I think. She
Yeah, I saw
raised like
people
42.
talking about it. In fact, if you go, let me see, it was one of some of the. If you just search it, like they're mentioning it. Think in one of these links.
Mhm.
Yeah, right here. It says a woman claims a man hit her with a brick for not giving out a number. At that point, it was 37,000.
Okay. Hmm.
But again, I mean, if it's not as easy to find, I think they may have pulled it because they certainly didn't take. Even on the one I pulled up, they were not taking any more donations on it. So
Hmm.
everybody and their mama know that this is suspect at the very least at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that we're not going to relitigate the credibility of this because we already know at this point it's total BS. So
Hmm.
at this point, what we're going to focus on is the larger issue regarding how these women seem to be very prolific in their support of people who don't deserve it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of
We got
scary. I think it's kind of scary um that that even though that she was found guilty and she was a fraud,
yeah, yeah. What's up?
they
Never hungry
still,
again. That's an interesting name there.
yeah, right.
Never hungry again. Hey, way to go, bro. Yeah, I hope you're
Yeah,
never hungry again either.
yeah.
But yeah, well, yeah, what you saying?
I was just saying how I just think that it's interesting how even after she was found guilty and she's a fraud and a scammer, that they still supporting this chick, yet alone not holding her accountable. That's scary, man. That's like a almost like a cult following, bro.
Right. See, that's the point, though. It's like they're not concerned about facts. They're not concerned about whether or not this would even have a negative impact on actual victims.
Right.
See, they're not even thinking that through. Like, okay, you go out here, you can let this woman scam you. You guys, the guys who have supported her should be the main ones on her bumper, the main ones on her neck, saying, listen, you're making it bad for actual victims, and specifically of black men violence. Because if you obviously, the thing that was the rallying point, the thing that got their panties all in a bunch was the fact that it was a black man that hit this, allegedly, it's supposed to have hit this woman. So for the actual instances where women are getting hit by black men, whenever one comes forward, then now we're all going to be looking at her sideways.
Right.
So if they were so concerned about their cause, then they should be the ones that are definitely angry and calling for justice from this woman, because what she did is like the little boy that cried wolf, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So they should be the ones that are more outraged than us, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. She claimed it was a black man that hit her with a brick, but then turned around in the same breath want a black man to do something about a black man allegedly hitting her with a brick.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This doesn't
Oh,
make sense. It doesn't have to, you know.
man,
But
it's
again,
crazy.
what I'm pointing out here is the larger point, which is black women seem to back anyone financially who excuses their behavior
Hmm.
or blames black men.
Yeah, yeah. That's the big thing, blaming black men. You know, that's pretty low. You know, I mean, they can. With me, it's like they can financially back whoever they want, because it's of course it's their money, but to blame black men and to put that on black men, man, that's pretty low, man. Yeah, it's pretty low. But everything that happens in the dark shall come to the light. So you know.
Yeah, yeah, and you see, that's the point, and that's the problem with this whole thing, and that's the reason why I'm framing this narrative the way I am, is because it doesn't matter whether or not it was true.
Right.
It's like the saying goes, a lie can travel around the world before the truth can get out of bed.
Mm,
Before the truth can get out of bed and put his pants on, the lie then already ran around the earth.
mm,
So
yeah.
the fact that they have this person that spreads this narrative, and to this day, I wouldn't be surprised, even with all the evidence to the contrary, I wouldn't be surprised if there are still women who actually believe this narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's beyond crazy.
Yeah, that's why I opened it with the with the song "Crazy." And that's what this is, right?
Oh man.
But that's the problem. So, and it ties back into the title: how black women invest in getting scammed. They are part of the scam apparatus. And
Mm-hmm.
in addition to this uh, title right here that I'm bringing, the statement, black women seem to back anyone financially who excuses their behavior or blames black men. That's part of the uh, functional way or dysfunctional way things run in the so-called black community. And a big part of the problem is this next statement that I'm going to put, which is black women make up over 70% of spending in the BC or the so-called black
Black
community.
community. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Mhm.
And so when you look at that number, that explains everything that you see.
Yeah.
So that means that black women in large, and obviously there are some black women who don't buy into the sisterhood, if you will. But as you can see, just based on what we can observe,
Mhm.
the prevailing things that are out there, the majority of the banshees are the ones that are supporting all of the foolery that we see in the black society
Mhm.
because they pulled up, they got the spending.
Mhm.
Um, it's not so much as they make most of the money because I think that's a false narrative. And I wanted to briefly talk about that Tyler Perry situation too. Did you hear about what he said? Got a lot of women got their panties in a bunch because of what Tyler Perry said, right?
Yeah, in that interview saying that they earn more than black men. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a
Right,
lie.
right. We know that's a lie, but I'm talking about the other part of what he said that really got them upset. See, they didn't take issue with that part. They actually liked that part. The
Oh,
false
okay.
part they liked. The
Mhm.
other part. Did you get the
Mhm.
other part that he said?
Um, Something about accepting average men, black men, or settling for black men, settling for average black men, something
Well,
along those lines.
essentially, he was saying that if a man is pretty much treating a woman right, if he's loving her and all of that,
Mhm.
and because he based, he was leading up to when he said about the money situation. He said, well, there's a lot of black women that are right now making more than black men, and he was using that as the basis to say that therefore a lot of women should accept the fact that if as long as a man is loving her and doing all of this, that she shouldn't mind him just contributing what he can, and if she's bringing in the most of the money, then she could be like maybe taking care of the mortgage or handling the bigger bills, whereas he may only be able to pay the light bill, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
he says that's okay. And boy,
Mhm.
those broads went crazy.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, yeah. But that was the main crux. That was the main issue that turned it into a an uproar. Was the fact that he was pretty much saying that if the woman is making the money,
Mhm.
then she should pretty much she shouldn't mind as long as the man is there and like I said, loving her and doing all of this
Mhm.
because you know he's still uh has value and all of that. So therefore he can, as long as he's doing what he can, even if it's just paying the light bill, whatever, that should be okay. And
Mhm.
man, boy, their pennies was scrunched up all the way between their cheeks after that.
Mm. Got him heated, huh?
Yeah, yeah, they were really tight about that. So,
Mm.
and it's funny because a lot of them have already done that with the Pookies and the Ray Rays.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's so.
Right.
I guess that's why I hit them so hard because like, what you think y'all been doing already?
Right.
Them
Buying them
same broads.
Jordans, buy
Yeah,
them Jordans, PS5s.
yeah. They thought it was cute back then,
Yeah.
but now, yeah, now they figured out. They realized that his swag wasn't enough. Now all of a sudden, and now they're so in an uproar about it. But that's what they pretty much have been doing with themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the problem?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's just, it's pretty much baked into what the community is. So
Mhm.
I'm not even understanding what should be the issue. But again, once again, we were just talking about hypocrisy.
Right. Right. Right.
But the reason why I wanted to even bring him up is because who made him? Who created the success that he has? Who was supporting him?
Single mothers.
Yeah, but it goes back into what I said. They invest in getting scammed.
Mhm.
So they didn't want Tyler Perry. See, they thought as he was running around denigrating, making these crappy movies, denigrating the image of black men, in the form of making them the villains in all his damn movies and
Mhm.
and running around in a freaking dress, and they were loving it. They made this man a
Mhm.
billionaire.
Yeah.
They made him a freaking billionaire by that fuckery. But then he says one thing they don't like and they want to cancel him. But they're the ones that created him, though.
Right.
They
Right.
invest. Once again, they invested in getting scammed. So he scammed them. So some black women even got the nerve. I've heard them say, "Well, he been making movies to denigrate black women." Okay, then why were you women going out there supporting him?
Yeah.
If he was so denigrated, well, he always was putting making black women look bad. Well, y'all loved it to
Yeah.
the tune of making this dude a billionaire. You black men didn't make this dude no billionaire.
Oh, didn't I didn't go see not one Medea movie in the theaters. I hardly even watch Medea any Medea movies.
Yeah, I went one time, and I wish I could say I'd never seen one of them, but I was dating I think it was the woman that dating at the time,
Mhm.
and she wanted to see. I think it was one of his first movies that came out. I think this was in the '90s or something. Whenever he first came out, I didn't know at that point he was going to be running around in drag. I didn't even know who the guy was.
Yeah.
But it was one of the movies, and she wanted to go see it, so I took her to see it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did see one in the theater, but after that, hell no. Even if a woman wanted to go, I'm like, no, we seeing something else.
Yeah. 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 They created them.
Yeah. So they create these monsters, they invest, and then when it comes and bite them in the ass, all of a sudden they want to cry foul.
Yeah.
But that's what we see because again, he was all good when he was denigrating, when he was excusing their behavior. All of the movies, they're a victim, and the mean old black man is this and that, and they get to uh you know have no accountability, so they will again make this guy a billionaire, and then the moment he comes out to say anything that even looks like he's taking up for black men, which he actually wasn't because he put out false information,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it just the way that they took it was that somehow he was siding with uh black men at least in a an apparent way, as opposed to it wasn't just some uh maybe covert way. It was like open. He was openly saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the fact that he looked like he was taking a strong stance, and so they just didn't like that.
Yeah. Any inclination of going against their narrative, they want to uh, uh, burn somebody at the stake.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point. And again, part of that has to do with, and the reason why you have people like Tyler Perry and other media types and all these different companies and agencies and so forth is because of the statement I have on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
black women make up over 70% of spending in the black community. And spending does not equate to them making more money. It just shows that of the money that they make, they are spending more. They spend more than that. You could take a black man that's making $75,000-$100,000 a year, and a black woman that's making that or less. She will spend way more than him
Yeah. Yeah.
in personal grooming and all of that.
Yeah. 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 I think black women, they all I watched the behaviors of my sisters, and they always had money, man. Always. Whether I don't know exactly how they got it, and I don't want to imagine and venture on how they got it, but
Mhm.
they've always had money on them, man. Always. So
Yeah. Yeah, women have their ways to get money, but it's not
mhm.
even about. See, the problem with women is that a lot of them, and I'm saying this as someone who used to manage finances for women.
Okay, yeah.
Um, they're very good at putting on the fronts. Even if they're making a
Hmm.
lot of money, they're normally behind the scenes. Because I was the guy that was able to look behind the curtain, behind the scenes, and see what was going on. I
Hmm.
mean, one time I had a client, and if you seen this woman on the outside, man, you would swear that she was just rich, balling out of control. She pulled up.
Hmm.
Uh, I think when she first came into my office, I had a view of the street as people were coming in, like in the corner office that I was in, and she was walking in, or she pulled up in a Benz, dressed to the nine, and all of that, looking good, all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came in and needed a financial consultation, and I was going over a few things and started figuring out, you know, budgets and just looking through her finances. I looked into her accounts. This woman, remember, she rolled up in a Benz. She was
Mm-hmm.
dressed in the latest fashions. I think she had one of them fancy purses. Black woman, everything. I mean, if you saw her out, you'd be like, "Oh man, she must be a celebrity or something," right?
Right.
Man, I did a diagnostic looking at this woman's finances. She literally was overdraft in her account. That
Mm.
Benz that she rolled up in had
Mm.
she was behind like two payments on it.
Oh, they
Her
was looking
account was
for it then.
literally overdrafted by like, yeah, they're probably looking for it. That account was like overdraft by like damn near $3,000.
Mm.
It was in the hole
In the negatives,
because I think
yeah.
uh payment that came in, and she obviously didn't have the money in there, so she had that a bunch of overdrafts in one of her accounts, and it was a mess. She didn't have a dime to her name. She was in debt. But she
Mm.
rolling up in the Benz. She rolled up looking good, all of that. But she was putting on airs, putting on appearances. But at the same time, she was broke. And just like when they did that study showing that black women their net worth, not in every case, but on average, they have either a negative net worth or they're only worth $5.
Mm.
And that
See,
means when you add,
smoke and mirrors.
yeah, but so when you add up all of their assets minus their liabilities, that equals their net worth. And a lot of them had negative net worth. So that means that the amount that they owe is over what they own.
No, they're the table.
Yeah, and that table got freaking holes in it and falling over.
No,
It got two legs.
I was going to say three.
All of that. No, they got two legs.
What
Some
cat
of
a
them think
quarter
just
from
because
these
they
other?
can get on all fours. You think this because they can get on all fours and they're the table. So I guess,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's crazy because, and it's sad. I don't say this stuff because I'm trying to be mean or because again, I'm not a misogynist. I don't hate women. I'm just pointing out
Yeah,
the bad behavior,
yeah.
and women have to understand that that behavior and these types of things that we're talking about with this Bashi chick and all of this, that just ties into the response that they're going to get from masculine men. They're not going to get a positive response. See, this was what they need to realize. Just like they don't like feminine men,
Mm-hmm.
you know how a lot of women talk about how turned off they get with a beta male or some feminine man. You remember that dude? Because we didn't even cover this guy because we were doing other stuff, and you remember that dude that was crying that some woman stood him up. You
Oh
remember that dude?
yeah, the guy with the glasses. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
guy.
I remember him. Yeah, I remember him.
So a lot of women were vocal about how much that guy turned them off, right? How weak he was, how soft he was, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which we can agree, right? Shouldn't a grown man should not be behaving like that over a date. Some people said it might have been a skit because he was a comedian or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. But I think it may have been real because he does kind of seem like the guy. Because I think he had some type of mental. I don't want to say mental issue, but some type of what do you call it, disability or something, right there, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
the point of the matter is, a lot of the women that saw that video were turned off.
Mm-hmm.
Either they felt sorry for him, or they didn't feel sympathy for him, and they felt that he was weak, and they were disgusted by him, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So listen, I say, okay, for a lot of women, for you to understand how turned off you would be for a man to be that weak or to be that feminine, that's how we feel about a masculine woman.
Right. Exactly.
You understand that? So then you put it in their lap like that, then maybe they can understand how disgusting it is for a woman to be behaving the way the typical and average black woman behaves in terms of, and it's not them being masculine because a woman can't really be masculine. They can be pseudo masculine. They can, try to emulate what they think is masculinity, but it's really, to me, I don't like beta men, so I really don't like a female that's acting like a man. That's damn near worse than a beta male.
Yeah,
Because a
yeah, it
beta man,
really is.
especially like if a beta man is acting hard, you all seen the type. Some little punk dude. We know he's soft, but then he wants to run around like he's hard. I get pissed off at that. Much
Oh
less
yeah.
a female who's acting like she's tougher or something than what she is, or trying to act masculine. That's a big
Right.
turnoff.
Yeah, big
So if
turn
a
off.
woman needs to try to equate and see how it feels to be in contact with something that's so disgusting to you, just imagine a very weak, soft beta man that is like, just like the dude that they, that was crying over the date or whatever, right? If it's a
Mhm.
guy like that, then you know what I'm saying. That's gonna make a woman get turned off, just like we gonna get turned off, because I know I do at these women acting and talking the way they do.
Mhm.
Yo, what's up?
Mhm.
NYC in the building.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
shout
you
out to
go. Shout
you,
them out.
NYC. Yeah, shout out to you, Evolved ADA. Yeah, man, that's we've had plenty of them in the hood. Those tough acting beta guys that always talk the talk but never walk the walk. So yeah, we always had
Yeah,
that.
those are the guys that cause all the trouble.
Yeah, yeah, hmm yeah. And then they feed off of them. The hyenas feed off of them. So, but it's just out of control now. It's like a raging fire, man.
Yeah.
It's like a raging fire, man. It's out of control. You think it's gonna get worse than what it is?
Well, I mean, the way it's gonna get worse is that things are just gonna collapse.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
That's how it's gonna get worse. It's not gonna. I think. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna still have people doing the dumb shit that they're doing, but I think
Mm,
the next step is for things to just go off a cliff and just be like, for example, there are so many larger issues in play. Like if you talk about the geopolitical situations and all of that, and the economic situations, that is what's going to ultimately cause all of this big reset of society, because it
mm,
got like this because of the past prosperity.
mm. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to give you a saying. I don't know if you've heard this before, but this is a very powerful saying that I've heard. A lot
Mm,
of people try to quote it, but they get it wrong. But I'm going to say it because I'm pretty good at remembering certain sayings like this that are wise um, parables and wise principles. And
mm,
it goes like this. It says, hard times create strong men.
mm,
Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create hard times.
mm, okay.
Yeah, so you understand that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. So that's the full
Yeah.
cycle of how things go. Like hard times create strong men.
Mhm,
Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Yeah,
mhm.
like
Yeah.
NYC say, it's a cycle.
Yeah, it is a cycle. Yeah. Yeah. I see you right, man. Yeah. hmm It's like a never ending roller coaster ride in an Infinity 8 type of deal.
Yeah, and I would add to that, you can also say uh, weak women also create hard times.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and that brings me to something else I wanted to mention that was in the news. Did you hear about Kurt Franklin and his mama?
No, what happened?
Well, again, this could be a show on its own, to be honest. But I'm going to briefly mention what happened. Apparently, Kurt Franklin um, found out that the man that his mom said was his father was not his father,
Mm,
and they just kind of all found out because somebody, I guess, like a friend of the family or someone died, and they had a funeral,
mm,
and the guy, the man who's actually their father, mentioned that he used to date because they were just casually talking around. I mean, sitting
mm,
around talking, and
mm.
the guy who's actually Kurt Franklin's father, because the guy that who thought was his father passed away, but
Okay,
they were at this funeral for someone else, and the guy was just casually mentioning that he had dated Kirk's mother,
okay.
and so people started looking, and they said, "Well, you do kind of he kind of favor him, right?" And so then it
Mm,
started. They were like, "Well," they started saying that he might be, he could be his father because he looked like him, and pretty much they it just became this big rumor, right?
mm, mm,
And so yeah, so it looked like NYC know about it, but so the bottom line was he uh he said, "Yo." He went, I guess he asked his mom about it, and she was like, "Yeah, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it." And then the guy volunteered and said that he would give him a DNA sample.
mm,
So he took the swab. He said, "You can do whatever you want with it." So he gave him the DNA sample.
mm.
Turns out, guy comes back like 99%. That's his father, right?
Wow.
And then they took another one because then he's like, "You know what? We're gonna all get together." They took another DNA sample.
Okay.
Once again, boom, no surprise, 98, 99% is his father, right? So he confronts his moms about it.
Mm.
You know what this broad had the nerve to do?
What you do?
She said that she did not believe the DNA test and there's no way that man could be his father.
Mm. She going down in flames, huh?
Lied to this boy, but lied to, and he begged her. He almost begged her to tell him the truth. He said, "Not for me." He said, "The 10-year-old boy needs to hear you say it. Needs to hear you." He was trying to plead with her to just come clean about it,
I don't know why they do
and she
that, man.
refused to tell that man the truth.
And I don't know why they do that, man. Most of them, they ride until the wheels fall off and they still want to ride on the same vehicle without the
Right.
wheels.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the point.
Oh,
See, that's what I'm saying. Men lie and women lie, but the types of lies are vastly different. We will lie about some little basic shit. You know, a dude might lie that he's 2 inches taller than what he is. Some bullshit like that, right? We'll lie. Men will lie, right? But at the end of the day, you catch us, we gonna be like, "All right, you got me." You put enough pressure on us,
right,
we gonna come clean. And
right.
as you get more mature, and that's typically when we're younger, right? And as we mature, we lie even less.
Hmm.
Because I feel
Yeah,
like I just tell it the truth. I'd rather not say anything than just be lying, So I prefer the
yeah.
truth, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's the characteristic of a masculine man. We want to tell the truth, right?
right.
But these women, their whole thing, the way they lie is it creates these generational curses. It creates these dysfunctions all through people's family. So this man, and if you look at Kirk Franklin, he had issues with his own son. He had all these
Hmm.
other issues that he grew up not knowing who his real father was. And like NYC said, his father, let me put this up. He said that his father actually just lived down the street from him the whole time.
Mm. The whole
Let me pull that.
time. Damn,
Yeah, it's crazy. And the
damn.
grandson, Kirk Franklin's son, was playing basketball right down the street from his grandfather's house all the time. He didn't even know it. because this one broad,
Wow.
his no good mama, was lying to him.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see where
All
NYC
that
said it was
time.
down all this time, and this broad knew it, and she never told his man, and she still ain't admitted it. They took 2 DNA tests.
2.
This 2 DNA tests. This bitch still talking about she don't believe it.
That's
She still
crazy,
won't
man.
concede until this man, because Kirk he already know, and he's embracing the guy as he should.
Hmm.
And she's pretty much. Oh yeah, guess what she said? She was like, well, because he was like, "Are you going to tell me the truth?" And she's like, "Well, is that going to affect our relationship or something if I don't, or something like that?" And it was
Hmm.
like it's like she was just caring. It was like she was only concerned about the bag or whatever. Because I'm sure he maybe kicking her off a little bit, right? Since that's his mom.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
the fact of the matter is, this broad could not even tell this man the truth after all this that came out. She had already denied him his whole life, denied him a relationship with his father, and then she got the audacity to sit up there and still not come clean and give this man closure.
Mm.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And then it's like he is estranged from his natural father. He don't know that man at all. Seem like.
Yeah, but see now at least he's trying to build that bond now,
No, that's
which is
good.
important.
That's good. That's good.
But look how they found out though. It wasn't because of her. They just found out through chance or the Most High.
Yeah.
You know, you just say the Most High. Worked that out where they happen to all be at the same place, and then he just casually mentioned, "Oh, I used to date Kurt's mom," and they looking at him like, "You do kind of look like him," and it
Mm.
just yeah, and like he said, I was just thinking about that what NYC said about with Tupac. You know what happened with that,
Hmm.
right? He said,
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, I heard about him finding out about his real dad too.
yeah.
Mm.
See, in Tupac's situation, Afeni, she took Tupac across the country. So he had no way of knowing. And she told him, I guess, that he was dead or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was really foul. And she knew
Yeah.
exactly who he was the whole time.
Probably knew exactly where he was too.
That's what I'm saying. She knew where he
Yeah.
was. And if she did, she could have found him.
Mm.
And then these same women, they do. And look, here's the point, though. These are just high profile examples. This happens all the time. I've known of situations like that in my own family.
Yeah.
Where I got certain relatives that are kin to me one way that they shouldn't be because of some scandalous broad who slept with somebody who she shouldn't have slept with. Now I got a cousin that I shouldn't even have, or some
Yeah.
crazy stuff like that. Man, I can tell stories. I can write a book
Yeah.
about situations I know about, and whether it's in my family or someone that I'm familiar with.
And again, I have to say this: women grants access to sex. Okay, if more women would say no, these events would not be happening. So
Right.
yes, it does take two to make a baby, but women grants access to sex.
Exactly.
So
Right.
that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. They put in. Look, they're the ones that create these situations. They are the ones that cause the drama. Again, that's not to excuse. Okay, let me put it like this. Just like with this situation with Kirk Franklin's father, he didn't even know. So you can't. So
Mhm.
how much blame can you give the man? Now he know that he was doing. He know he was hitting it without a condom or whatever. But if the woman's not, letting you know, then you don't even know if she, you know, got pregnant or not. Especially if she didn't put it on some other dude.
Yeah,
So for all you know, okay, well that's some other dude's baby. Even though you might have been messing with her, then she stopped messing with you, and then she messed with somebody else. Because they know it takes them 9 months to have a baby.
yeah,
So by the time they might be out of that relationship, she on to the next one,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then she's still immediately having sex with this dude, and then the baby comes, and then boom, she was already pregnant, and then the dude thinks it's his, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's why they're so. That's why it's so scandalous when they do stuff like this because they can screw up families. That's why if you look at ancient empires like in Kemet or Egypt, the women, they had eunuchs around the women. They didn't allow just random men to be around the quote queens, which is ironic because you got all these women running around calling themselves queens. Well, a hallmark or a representation of what a queen is, they don't have a bunch of random peasants around them all the damn time.
Yeah.
Some random dudes that can knock them down and mess up the royal lineage. So how the
Right.
fuck you a queen when all these regular dudes can impregnate you to the point where you don't even know who the king's heir is? That's why in
Yeah.
those ancient civilizations, when they actually had real queens,
hmm
they didn't allow just any old man. If you were a man, and you were a servant around the queen, you had to be a eunuch. You know what a eunuch is?
I heard of a eunuch. It's spelled EUNICH, right? Eunuch.
Yeah. Well, a
Yeah.
eunuch is a man who cannot have children. Basically, I think maybe
Oh,
they
okay.
castrate them or whatever,
Oh,
but they
wow.
make sure that that man, if he has to be in the service of the queen, like whatever he's doing,
hmm
they made sure that those men that had to attend to the queen, like if the king wasn't around or whatever, they were servants or whatever, they
Yeah.
were not able or capable of impregnating that queen.
Mm, mm. Yeah, they
That's how
probably did
serious it was.
castrate him. Yeah. Yeah, they probably did castrate him. Yeah. That's the only way to make sure. So
Yeah.
Egypt
And
fell
look
under
what
matriarchy.
I want to make sure. You have any examples? Which dynasty was that? NYC. He said it fell under matriarchy.
Yeah, they want to talk about Cleopatra and stuff, and she was famous and or infamous or what have you, but you can't really count a queen under that, you know. You really can't. I mean, I haven't heard of any battles that she won, any type of uh conquering of lands that she did. I've never heard of any queen conquering any lands. And of course we all know that's what make kings kings, right?
Right. I mean, okay. So this gives us this. I know we kind of going off subject a little bit, but I'm going to say this, and
Yeah.
we're going to kind of bounce back a little bit. Okay. Here's the thing about Cleopatra, right? See, the thing about Cleopatra, they just like this is debate as to whether or not she was black or she was Greek or whatever.
Mhm,
Look, she wasn't really anyone of real note. She wasn't particularly beautiful or powerful or did anything.
mhm,
She said she was famous because of some of the things that she did. Like he just mentioned. I was going to mention that. I'm sure what NYC said. She was basically like a Kardashian of her time. She slept
mhm.
with Julius, like NYC just said. She slept with Julius. Uh, he means Julius Caesar
Yeah.
to
Mhm,
use his army to suppress a civil war within Egypt. Yeah, so she was basically famous for how her bedroom skills, I guess, because she slept with
yeah.
Caesar, she slept with Mark Antony, and they
Mhm,
were rivals, right?
yeah. Yeah.
In Rome. Now, Cleopatra was descendant of the Ptolemy dynasty, and Ptolemy was one of Alexander. People call him the Great, but I just call him Alexander the Greek.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
actually Macedonian, but he
Oh,
was
really?
yeah, yeah, he was from Macedon. But that
Oh,
was all
okay.
still part of the Greek states. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
Alexander, he had four generals, right?
hmm
One of them was Lysimachus, Cassander, um, uh, I think Lysimachus, Ptolemy. Ptolemy was one of them. Ptolemy was the one that controlled Egypt, right?
hmm
So when Alexander died, his four generals divided up what was his empire, what Alexander carved out.
hmm
Going about, when he was fighting the Persians and all that. So
hmm
they divided it into fours, and then Ptolemy, which was Cleopatra's ancestor, took Egypt. So the Ptolemaic dynasty ruled under during the time. And again, most of Egyptian history was ruled by the black Africans or the Nubians.
Okay.
right? But then you had these invaders, from the north, whether they were the Hyksos and all these other Asiatic groups. But then you had later on the Greeks under, like I said, Alexander and then Ptolemy. So she was descendant of Ptolemy. Now, some people say she may have been of mixed race, which is possible,
Yeah.
but she wasn't a native black African. And so for these stupid Negroes who run around talking about, oh, she was black, no, at best she was mixed
Hmm.
because maybe some of the royal family of the native Egyptians may have mixed maybe with the Greeks, but there's not really a lot of evidence to that. But it could have happened. But the
Yeah.
point of the matter is, she was descended from the Ptolemaic line, which was one of Alexander's four generals.
Hmm.
And so the reason why she's even famous is, like I said, she's like a Kardashian. It's like she had an ancient version of a sex tape, right? Um, she was sleeping with Mark Antony and Julius Caesar,
Mm.
and some of
Mhm.
the stuff she was doing back then. So that's kind of why she's even famous, because she became a big spectacle in ancient Greece. I'm sorry, ancient Rome, because she came there and she was like this exotic queen from a far off land, and so it became like she was like famous for being famous. Like you said, she didn't win no major battles, she didn't do any major projects or anything that we like building pyramids or something like that. She was just kind of a woman who was involved in some scandalous sex and power plays, and all of that, how she was kind of using Caesar and Mark Antony, who were rivals, against each other.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how she became famous. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to get off into that, but I just wanted to kind of put some perspective on that. But
Mhm.
getting back to the subject at hand, you see, the problem with this whole thing is that you have too many uh, black women who are gullible and willing to jump on the bandwagon of negative press about black men.
Yeah. 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 We are constantly under a microscope, bro. You already know that. We all know that. NYC Evolve 88, um, Mr. Hungry. We all know that. So
Yeah.
we all know that. And then it's like,
That's
just
not
like I
even an issue. See, here's the thing. We know if you're behind enemy lines, and it's like I brought out, and I shared this on Obsidian show, I think last year, and I brought it up the last time I was on there, I think last week.
mm,
Propaganda is a form of warfare, and
mm,
we're victims of propaganda.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
and the guy who wrote the book on propaganda was a guy by the name of Edward Bernays, and he was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. You've heard of Sigmund Freud, right?
yeah. I vaguely heard about him.
Yeah. So the book of propaganda, that's a strategy of war, and it's also a strategy of mass brainwashing. Did you know that there was a time in which women did not smoke because it was seen as a masculine trait?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then it was Sigmund Freud's nephew, this guy Edward Bernays, who wrote the book of propaganda. He's the one that got women to start smoking,
Mm,
because
okay.
what he did was he said he's going to turn cigarettes into torches of liberty and make women believe that they're getting empowerment. He played into that whole feminist thing and said that when women are smoking cigarettes, then it's empowering for them. And a lot
Mm,
of those women, in spite of all the dangers associated with it, a lot of the women bought into this,
and started smoking. Huh?
started smoking. He increased it by 50%, the number of women who were
Ooh.
smoking, and created, and that's why all of these people, like these companies like Philip Morris, all these cigarette companies, they would hire him and guys. That's why they got these PR people
Uh,
in these advertisement campaigns, but it's based on the propaganda that um, Edward Bernays he pioneered, that turning something that's actually negative into a positive, and getting in women, wanting to be empowered and all of this, they fall for it every time,
mm,
and that's why it's so easy to get black women in particular, because women in general are very susceptible to advertisements, right?
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So a lot of the advertisements that you see on TV are geared towards women,
Yeah, yeah,
because they are highly likely to go out and buy what they see being advertised to them.
yeah, yeah. The biggest impulse buyers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and black women are among the biggest impulse buyers.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so when it comes to these companies, then they're gonna push their products on them, and they're gonna support them, and they're gonna cater to them because they know that they're gonna go out and spend that money, and that's why it goes down to like the court systems and all of that. They're giving a lot of this leeway to these women, so because they know that once they take the money from you guys as you're working and doing alimony and child support. And I want you in NYC. We're gonna let NYC come up. He already said he'll do it, and I want you guys to just talk about child support because both of y'all been on child support, right?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 I'd love
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah, NYC. If you're still in the building, let us know if you're still down to do that. I'm gonna set up a show where you guys can chop it up about that because that's just
Mhm.
another way to extract money from the guys and divide the uh, the money because they know if just like you got all these big high profile divorces, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And they always try to make sure that they take the money from the man some kind of way because they know that that money is going to get spent in the economy, whereas men we're going to either save it or
Hmm.
we're going to invest it or do something. We ain't going to be
Yeah.
these mindless consumers.
Yeah. Most of the time, we divide it amongst amongst the black community to where it's going to be purposeful, and we're going to see ROI on whatever we invest in and everything. See, that's what we was talking about down the conclave while lead attorney was talking. Well, we weren't talking while the lead attorney was talking, but we talked about this at the conclave while we was eating and everything. And
Uh-huh.
I was telling them that's the main reason why I deduced that America was using the U.S. Child support and divorce courts as a scam to alleviate black men's funds to award themselves and black women. It's a scam. And now they're talking about they're going to make paternity tests mandatory. And they should have been done that from the get-go, man. That's how you know it's a
Yeah.
scam. They should have
Mhm.
they should have did that from the jump, man. Made it
Yeah.
mandatory.
And they're only instituting a lot of these reforms now because I was looking at some research today and it was saying that a lot of these courts now are starting to panic because they're seeing more and more men opting out of marriage. And that was the very um, method that they were using to extract these funds through, our natural ability to want to marry and protect and, all that for a
And
woman, right?
produce. Yep.
And
Mhm.
produce and all of that and provide. And so they
Mhm.
were using that nature against men to extract resources.
Right.
But now men have become hip to it. Now they're starting to become more lenient. Now they're just saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, you gotta, you, you know, uh, they're coming up with all these new laws to try to make it more attractive now."
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's too late now. No, we
Yeah,
getting our passports. Okay. We leaving. That's
yeah,
it. We ain't I ain't gonna even gonna play that game. No. No,
yeah.
I don't believe in no prenuptial agreements. No, I'm not even gonna play that game. I'm gone.
Yeah, because at this point it's crazy because the damage is done. A lot of guys, even if it didn't happen to a guy in particular, we've seen it. We've had uncles, you know, older brother, whoever. You've seen guys in your family or people that you just see, especially now with the advent of the internet and how we can have shows like this and other shows where guys can give testimonies as far as what happened,
Mhm.
and we're all sharing information. So
Yeah.
um, the jig is up.
Yeah.
It's not you can't put that cat back in the bag.
Yeah. 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 But see, most black women, they opened up Pandora's box by accepting the assistance. See, again, this is a monster that they created. Just because, let's just say, you have a mountain of cocaine right in front of you, that don't mean you have to take any of it. Just
Yeah.
because something's offered to you, that don't mean you got to take it. See,
Yeah, but so it just goes back into the nature of
yeah,
women. A lot of them are impulsive and selfish by nature, and a woman will have to work very hard to go against her nature and to do what's in the self interest of the family.
hmm
But a lot of them were very selfish, and when it comes to situations like with this chick, she kind of embodies that, and that's what attracted a lot of these women
Mhm.
to believe her.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's why I love the nature of a foreign woman because they've been raised to um care more for about the family. Anything for anything good for the family, they'll do it. You know what I mean? Like just like say for instance the Filipinas, they'll take one for the team, and just to see that their family succeed. So I've heard that a lot, you know. But these American women, man, they do not care. They don't care at all. It's
Yeah,
just gimme, gimme, gimme.
right. And it's like I pointed out before. Um, it's not that women are. I mean, their nature is their nature, right? And it just
Yeah,
depends on how they're cultured.
yeah,
But women are fundamentally the same. But it's just like if you take an empty vessel, you
mm,
could either take that empty vessel, you can dip it in sewer water, toxic, contaminated water, like what's going on in the West, or you can dip them in some clean water.
yeah,
They're going to retain it, or you can dip them in something in between, right? They may be, not as bad as American women, but not as good as a foreign woman. And you get variations, right?
yeah.
But
Very.
women are like those vessels where they're going to absorb that the environment, how they're cultured.
Yeah, that's true.
Women who come up with fathers and values, they're going to be better women.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like that, this woman that I showed, I think it was last week. I'm gonna point her out, and I'm just using this to make a point. Let me pull her up real quick. And what she was saying, and she got a lot of negative flack because of what she came out and said. I'm gonna play the clip again. See if I still got it up here. Hold on. And this is this lady named Erica Lachey. I think I still got her. I may have taken her down. Let me see. Oh, I got her. I'm gonna play a little bit of this clip again,
Mm,
and then I'm gonna say something that I know about her that backs up my point. But I'm gonna show a little bit of what she said about this whole brick situation,
mhm.
and then I'm gonna make my point. Hold on.
In regards to black women not being protected, let me first state the obvious. No man should put his hands on a woman. We desire protection, but sometimes what we don't understand is that true protection comes with a level of control. Bodyguards are a good example. A bodyguard will make their client leave from a dangerous place. The bodyguard has to know all the details: who, what, when, where, why, and how. And the client has to listen to the bodyguard and follow the instruction that the bodyguard gives them. It's really an agreement between all parties involved. When the person who needs protecting does not follow the instruction and the direction of the protector, it puts the protector in a situation where they're more likely to lose their life. I have 4 brothers and a father, and I listen to their instruction even when they're not around. They have told me to stay away from certain places if I'm by myself or if it's late at night. They've also advised me not to be drunk or high in certain situations. Even though my brothers, my dad, and the men in my life protect me, I in turn protect them by listening to them and following their instruction. They don't.
Yeah, I think I've seen this one.
Yeah, but you see what she said though, right?
Yeah, hmm,
She got 4 brothers and she got a father in her life.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that type of woman, even though she was born and raised in the West, I believe she's from Cali,
hmm,
which is liberal and all that. But even though she's from the liberal West Coast and grow up in a society like America, she still has the tendencies of a woman who was kind of in a foreign country.
hmm.
If
Yeah.
you
Shout out
actually
to her.
listen to it, huh?
Mhm. I said shout out to her. Hmm.
Yeah, shout out to her. So just look at that. So
Hmm.
even though it's just like what you just said, right?
Yeah,
About you were praising foreign women, but here's a woman. She's born and raised in the West Coast, no less, and she was speaking the way a woman should speak
yeah,
relative to her relationship with her father and her brothers.
hmm, yeah,
And why is that? Because she was reared the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had enough masculine energy around her to give her that insight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I like what she said about how the protection is reciprocal. These women want, see, they don't want protection from black men. They want a human shield.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. See, they're using the term protection, but they want a damn human shield. They want somebody who's going to jump out in front and take the slings and arrows and the bullets for their fuckery. That's what they want,
Yeah.
with no accountability. See, to
Yeah.
be under someone's protection, you would have to be under their authority, just like what she just
Yep.
said.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
you notice they don't say that. They want you to jump out and take the bullet for them like you're their bodyguard or you're just some, like I said, a human shield. That's what they
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
But you can't
Yeah.
tell them what to do, though. But the way she framed it was correct in that she listens to them, and that in turn is kind of her way of protecting them because she ain't gonna go out there and do nothing stupid and put herself in a position where they gotta come and protect her when she could have did something a little differently and prevented the situation. She's not out there starting fights with dudes or talking crazy and provoking some dude
Mm-hmm.
and then running back to get her brothers, right?
Yeah. Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. Prevention is the best cure.
Right.
Right.
See, they come in like just like me. If I got women in my family, someone who I'm dealing with her, they come to me when all else fails. If some
Mm-hmm.
dude is just coming around and he's already told her or she done already told him she's not interested or what have you, and this dude keeps coming, that's when I come in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I get him up off her. But if she running around starting shit, then she putting me in harm's way too because you could have avoided that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like we can stand idle by while she is getting, you know, pummeled or whatever.
Exactly. Regardless as to
Yeah.
see, even though she could have been the one that started it.
Right.
The position is that she shouldn't start it, but even
Mhm.
if she does start it, you still got to jump in.
Still got to do it. Right.
That's the point, because I'm not going to sit there and watch you get, like you said, pummeled.
Yeah. We still
Even if
got to
you were
step
the
in.
one starting it, so now I'm involved, and then
Right.
depending on how much it escalates, then somebody can wind up getting killed
Yep.
behind this.
Yep. It happens all the time, bro. It happens
Yeah.
all the time.
So that's what they got to understand. That's why as men, we don't, we have very good ways of dealing with each other in a respectful way because we know if it goes left, it can go really left.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why we got to be more disciplined when we interact with each other in terms of conflict resolution. But women, because they know that they have a lot of social and personal protective measures, then they'll go out here and put people in danger. Like I said, it's not so much as they want protection; they want human shield.
Hmm. Yeah. See, that's why I rarely interact with, uh, just women in general. I rarely interact with women I don't know because, they could take something the wrong way, what I said, what I did, and, it can get blown out of proportion. And, she, just like sister, she got brothers, she got a dad, she got uncles, and, it could get out of hand. So, that's why, I just handle things, man to man, with other men, you know what I mean? So, we could talk about it, and it'll be done, or we can fight it out, and hey, I'll buy you a beer after, hey, but
Yeah, you said something that I want to point out. Something you just said.
what's up?
If you just say for example, if because normally we can still work it out, even if just say a woman go gets a dude, and let's say it was a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
As men, we can work that out. But if you notice, if a woman is still involved, that's why I really hate when men are trying to do business or resolve an issue, and then there's a woman in the middle yapping, because
Yeah.
what they do is cause more problems when it
Yeah.
comes to conflict resolution between men. Because let's say, for example, something happened, right?
Mhm.
And then she went and got them involved. Now, if she is no longer in the picture beyond that, you can probably come to some type of resolution without it going to blows.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might just end it with a warning. It's okay, man. Well, that's my little sister. That's whoever, man. Just
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
make sure if he explains something. Hey, man, I didn't try to do that. I accidentally bumped up to her. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean nothing by it, blah blah blah. All
Mm-hmm.
right, dude. You know, and y'all could just say, hey, but just watch it or whatever. You know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
however it ends. But if she's there escalating the situation, then it could go left.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I don't really like to see how many, especially you see that a lot in the hood, where you see women always bucking up at men, you know, getting in the middle of you know, issues that
Oh
could
yeah.
be resolved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It happens all the time, bro.
Yeah,
You
just like
already
this
know.
banshee that we're talking about, this roll, this brick bitch. The thing that I really don't like about her is that she was faking this whole thing, and it's bad enough that you have women out here getting involved and causing real beefs, and she's just pretty much capitalizing off of that
Mm-hmm.
and creating that false narrative. Again, it's like I said earlier, the women who supported this and gave her the money and allowed themselves to invest in this scam, they got their money's worth because they got a chance to put out, whether it was true or not, they got a chance to run once again black men's reputation and image through the mud.
Yeah, yeah, man. She literally got paid, man. I mean, that's literally a year's salary for black men, man. 40K?
Yeah. And it's probably more than a salary for the average black woman.
Got paid.
And you got to understand something. A lot of times with these women, the the destination, the journey is what their goal is, not the destination. See, as men, we like to get to the goal. We like to get to
Mhm.
a particular target. You know, we like
Yeah,
a strategic and logical conclusion. Sometimes women are just doing things just for the excitement of it.
yeah, yeah,
Sometimes the journey is the destination. You know, they just the fact, and again, like I'm saying, the fact that they were able to, for those weeks or however long that before the truth caught up to the lie,
hmm,
they were able to bask in the excitement or the pleasure at being able to once again denigrate the image
hmm, yeah,
and pigeonhole all black men into this particular narrative.
hmm, hmm, yeah,
So to them, it's the price of admission was fine because no one black woman paid 40 grand. Remember, because I would imagine that the vast majority of those people who gave that money, uh, that they were black women. I think you know you may have some simps in there too,
yeah, mhm,
but I would imagine that the vast majority of the people contributing to this fraud in terms of the monetary donations were maybe black women.
yeah, yeah,
From their standpoint, they, you know, depending on how many of it, you know, how many people contributed, they
hmm,
probably only gave $10, $20 here and there, right?
hmm, yeah,
It all added up to about 40 grand, but you know, not one of them maybe gave that much, depending on
yeah,
how many women there were. So therefore, this is just the price of a cup of coffee for some of them,
yeah, yeah, really,
and they
yeah,
got a chance to kick back and watch, you know, black men's reputation get dragged through the mud.
yeah. And it really came to this, man, because I even know women in my family that backed up uh uh other women in my family due to fuckery, and I had to step in. I'm like, hey, hey, y'all know that's wrong, man. I was like, and then they'll get on me. They'll get on me. I was like, I don't care about y'all getting on me, man. That's wrong, man. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But that's how deep it goes. That's how deep the rabbit hole goes, man.
Yeah,
The
yeah. So
sisterhood is always going to back each other up, no matter what.
yeah, but see, look, the downside to this whole thing is that when it all comes down to it, like I said, she cried wolf. She's hurting the image of black women. See, they thinking that they got a chance to hurt our image, but it really backfired, right?
Yeah, Yeah.
because now that this truth has come out, then it makes us look better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Even though our reputation got ran through the mud for that week or so that just came out. So again, they got that nice little rush in the beginning. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
tortoise in their hair,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that story, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a classic story about the tortoise in the hare.
Mm-hmm.
See, they like the hair. See, they got a chance. Like I said, the lie runs the lie can run around the earth before the truth can get out of bed,
Yeah.
right? So they got a chance to put this narrative out there, but at the end of the day, the truth's still going to win.
Yeah.
No matter how far the lie goes, the truth is still going to catch it, just like the tortoise
Yeah.
and the hare.
Yeah.
So they had that hair moment where they got a chance to put this false narrative out there, but now look at them. That's why they scrambling like roaches, and you ain't seen her, and you ain't seen a lot of these banshees that were out here defending it.
Yeah. Yeah. They quiet, man. You can
Yeah, oh
hear
yeah,
that.
that's why I'm doing this. That's why we doing this show because we still talking about it. We know they quiet. That's why I said keep your boots in their ass. That's why I told Obsidian. Yeah, they quiet, so now we get to talk. We don't get quiet because they quiet. To hell with that.
Yeah. See, that's what I was looking for.
You damn right they quiet. But that's why we got to keep talking.
Oh yeah. I'll keep talking.
And like I said, I might be touching on other subjects, but I'm gonna keep my boot in their ass, and I'm gonna keep periodically bringing this up
Yeah,
to rub in their face.
yeah, because best believe if a black man really did that, oh man,
Man, you think they wouldn't still be doing live streams about it, talking
man,
about it?
man, we'll still be under fire, man.
And that's why I told the guys when I was on the Obsidian show, I say, hey man, you guys need to, you can talk about other stuff, but you need to keep bringing this up here and there,
Yeah,
especially when they start talking crazy. Throw this right back in their face.
yeah, yeah, for real. Straight
They
up,
gave us
yeah.
a perfect weapon because
Yeah, they
that's what I
did.
said. You use this because you win in the end. If you got the truth, you're gonna win.
Mhm,
See,
mhm.
they had a temporary V because they thought they had an opportunity to just drag us right there with this BS narrative, which is what they love to do.
Mhm.
But when the facts come out, then that's our victory.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking. What they gonna do? Put a brick upside my head?
I showed the video that there are women that do that like this. I showed you already last.
Cops say a convenience store clerk was hit in the face with a brick when robbers came in demanding a code to the cash register. Police in Phoenix are trying to identify this suspect, who they say went into a Circle K around 2 a.m. one morning with another person and attempted to rob the place. They say she struck the clerk on the ground until she got the PIN number to open the cash register. Investigators say the suspect stole cash and other items from the store. The victim was treated on scene by the fire department but didn't go to the hospital. Cops say they have already arrested a person involved in this incident. 24-year-old Alize Jenkins is charged.
Yeah, yeah. Let them try that with me. They're gonna take somebody's screaming sticks, dude.
Yeah. So, but again, that's they're going around hitting each other with bricks and doing this, that, and the third. But then they want to put that on the men, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish you WOOD would. You what?
Yeah. So they just sit here and like to play the victim and all that, but they're complicit in what's going on. And when it comes to issues like this,
Mhm.
this to me is a golden example and a golden opportunity to point out exactly what the problem is.
Yeah, yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
again, I titled this stream the way I did because I was very specific in what I meant. How black women invest in getting scammed. This is part of it. This is an investment. It's not just them being duped out of money, them being tricked out of money. This is an investment. They invested in that week or so of pleasure that they got being able to drag black men. They've invested their little money. They got what they felt was their money's worth, but then just like a lot of bad investments,
Mhm.
they wound up losing on the back end
Mhm.
because we still coming out smelling like a rose because this was all BS. They get to keep the BS smell, and we over here smelling like roses because it was all a scam, all a lie. But
Mm-hmm.
because they're short sighted, and that's the reason why I put up the stats about the money that they spend. And I gave you the example of the woman client that I had who was dressed up, coming in, rolling with the bins,
Mm-hmm.
and she's in all this debt because that temporary pleasure that they get on the front end to look good and to put up as his front, that's the pleasure they get from that short term. It's very um, carnal and very basic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They want all that up front, but then on the back end you got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So right now they paying, or they don't want to be accountable, and that's why they shutting the hell up right now, and that's why we gonna keep talking about it because this is the payday.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna talk about till the cows come home.
Yeah, it's just like when, the reason why the obesity rates with them are so high as well is because you get that pleasure from eating, right? They
Yeah.
can eat what they want, eat all those burgers and ice cream and all that. Yeah, it's just like a kid. They're gonna eat and they're gonna because they want that pleasure, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the reason why they're so promiscuous. They want all that pleasure, right? So they get those pleasure sensors satisfied. But on the back end, what do they get? They get obesity
Mm-hmm.
and they get these STDs and STIs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's unfortunate that they're so carnal that they're making these bad decisions for the short-term pleasure, just like with Pookie and Ray Ray, right? They like the short-term pleasure of dealing with guys like that, but in the long run, they get tired of it, and then they want to start going off on guys that they create, such as Tyler Perry, who's now telling them, no, no, why don't you just get the guy who can only play the light bill? Oh, hell no. Well, you want us to settle. Well, bitch, you've been selling the whole time.
Whole time.
What's the problem? So it's okay when you do it of your own free will, when you're choosing these no good Negroes to procreate with. But when this guy who's running around in a dress that you made a billionaire is telling you to do what you've been doing, now it's a problem?
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy, man. You can't make this shit up, man. Just like Kevin said.
Yeah. So now it's a problem, but you're the one who created this entire environment.
Mm.
And let me pull this information back up again, because when I say that, I'm very specific in what I mean. When I say that black women make up over 70% of spending in the black community, that is, that is telling you that everything you see going on in the black community, that's approved by them.
Yeah. Yeah. They funding it. Or
Yeah,
70% of it.
yeah. So if you look at the black community and there's a bunch of chaos, there's a bunch of bad music, there's a bunch of bad movies, there's whatever's going on that you can point to and say, oh, this is dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just follow the money and you'll see who's responsible for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You would not have had a Tyler Perry if he had to depend on money from black men. That Negro would have
He's
not
he'll
been
still be broke.
nobody.
He'll still be
Yeah,
broke. He'll still be
or
broke.
homeless, whatever he was prior to him. When he started putting on them dresses, we'd be like, "Oh, dude, you done."
Yeah, he still be broke.
Yeah, but the fact that that was able to fester and get to the point that it did, that's them. And the other thing I'm going to say before we wrap up the show, another way they invest in being scammed. You ever notice how conciliatory they were for just like we mentioned about the Tyler Perry, putting on a dress and all that, how they always thought that was amusing and cute, and they would
Yeah.
let little boys do that. But now, what do we have? Don't we have the T people running around now talking about that they gonna replace them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they create these monsters for themselves. They support it. They think it's cute, but now they running around talking about well, they more woman than them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Holly Berry got her son in her boots and heels walking up the
What?
steps.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. You know what? I did see that a while back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cute, huh?
Yeah, but see, they do all that again. They no long term vision, just getting that short term pleasure and amusement, and they pay on the back end. They make their investment.
Mm-hmm.
They have fun. They're participating, They know exactly what they're doing. They're investing. They're not just getting scammed. They're investing in it. They're part of it. And then they wind up still getting scammed and all the consequences of that. And they got to take that L.
He did exactly what they wanted him to do. They funded him, and
With
he
him, who you
made,
talking? You talking about Tyler?
yeah, Tyler Perry. They funded him. He made more movies, right? Kiki, make more movies. Keep shoveling the money. He made more movies, and they made him a juggernaut. And now they
Yep.
can't.
Now they couldn't. They can't.
Now they
They
can't
can't
stop him.
cancel him now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now you can't. Now you can't stop him.
Yep.
It's your own Frankenstein.
Yep. And,
He,
and what did Frankenstein do in the actual Frankenstein? He started. He didn't he kill Dr. Frankenstein?
yeah, she sure did.
Didn't he destroy the town
He
or
did.
whatever?
Yep.
Yeah.
You started with the lab first.
Yeah. Exactly. See, that's what they don't get. They create these monsters that they come back and destroy them. They create the Pookies and the Ray Rays and all these beta males. By definition, a beta male is a man who's more in tune with his feminine.
And now we got to ride out. They come get us. We got to ride out in the Batmobile, and they expect us to stop them. Nope.
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 They got.
Nope.
They got to do it on their own.
Yep. Nope. I ain't going.
All right. I think gonna wrap it up. I think it's been a classic once again.
Yeah, for sure.
We keep making these classics. We'll have to get a new name for it because it's just kind of all the shows becoming classics. So we got to something like a super classic or something, man. We're like, man, we're creating a new standard.
Yeah.
Everything's becoming classic. So I think it's a great show.
Yeah, I think
Shout out
as
to
we go on, man, we getting better and better, man. Like a
Yeah,
fine
man.
wine, man.
Yeah, but we got some classic shows in the vault that's already been made. So there's some that I think are kind of hard to beat already. But yeah, we definitely keep bringing the heat. So shout out to everybody that dropped by, everybody that got a chance to view us live. We appreciate it. Everybody that's gonna come back later, dropping your comments, supporting, all that. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to Never Hungry Again and NYC Evolved 88 for being here. Shout out to everybody else here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're gonna rock it again. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. We're gonna keep bringing this heat. Like I said, I'm gonna stay on this topic. We're gonna still be talking about other stuff, but I'm gonna headline this broad probably in another way, maybe even next week. I'm probably gonna take it into. Let me see where we at. Yeah, I might take it into October, where I might do at least a couple more shows with this broad as a central focus, just to kind of, as I said, put the boot in the butt a couple more times.
Yeah, right on her neck.
And I'm gonna make a playlist. I'm gonna make a playlist for these shows, like these 4 or 5, or how many shows that I do with this as a central. We're gonna put it in a playlist. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because like I said, you gotta take moments like this and you stomp and get your point across. When your enemy comes in, you take a shot at the king, you better hit him.
Yeah.
You better not miss. So they came for the king, they missed, and now they got to get this work.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I encouraged other guys. I say, you know what? And there've been guys coming out with more stuff on it too. Said this is what we should do. Because like you said earlier, they would definitely be, if this actually happened, they would still be talking about this.
Oh yeah.
Just word up. I mean, they would not let it go. They would be throwing this shit up every 5 minutes if it was true.
Yeah.
And she would have twice as much money.
Yeah.
Because GoFundMe would still be up there, and she'd have, instead of having 40K or whatever it was at the peak, because now they took it down. So I don't know if it's even, well, it looks like she's not able to receive any more money, but certainly if this actually happened, it would have still been going on, and they would have still been throwing more money at the situation.
Yeah, they really need to catch her and bring her to the forefront so she can be held accountable, man.
Yeah, but you said it though, that word, man. No, accountable what? No.
Kryptonite. kryptonite to
Yeah, there's no way. And they don't want none of that.
him. Oh man, crazy
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, thanks again, everybody, for coming out. We appreciate it. I'll keep bringing this hot fire. I'm going to have another hot one for you next week. And yeah, thank you once again. And as I like to say, when I just podcast with Squadcast, it's a very big difference. Mission complete, over and out.